As-Salamu
Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you everyone. Welcome to Islamic Learning with Masjid As-Sabur. I am Adrian Jasper, filling in for Imam Hazem Rashid, who is currently in hiatus. We are located at 4926 15th Avenue off of Stockton Boulevard, and our website is www.masjidassabur.org. And every Friday at 1:30 we have Juma services, our religious services, and anyone's welcome to come and learn and join us. So today we are having a discussion with two beautiful women in our community. We're going to talk about, we're just going to share verses from the Quran, and we're going to discuss how we each relate to them, how we reflect on them, and just how they impress upon us individually. We're not taking a scholarly perspective or none of that. We're just, as Muslim women, as human beings, from our own lives, our own past experiences, predispositions, we're just going to share how selected verses from the Quran just affect us and how we relate to that. And we're just going to share with you all. So we're just going to have a discussion with each other, and you guys are just going to be privy to that. So, pardonnez-moi, or pardonnez-we, while we discuss this and share. So I'm going to start with a verse that, first introduce yourself.
I'm Nailah El-Amin.
Zarinah El-Amin.
And they are mother and daughter. And we are all from the same community at Masjid As-Sabur, and these are beautiful sisters, and I'm happy that they're here today to share their perspectives of how the Quran, impresses upon them.
So, well, thank you for inviting us.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's start with the verse that Nailah wanted to reflect on.
Okay.
Surah 2, verse 255, which reads, God, there is no God but He, the living, the self-sustaining, eternal. No slumber can seize Him nor sleep. His are all things in the heavens and on earth. Who is it there can intercede in His presence except as He permitteth? He knoweth what appears in the creatures as before or behind, or after or behind them. Nor shall they compass out of His knowledge, except as He willeth. His throne doth extend over the heavens and the earth, and He feeleth no fatigue in guarding and preserving them, for He is the Most High, the Supreme in glory. So, when you hear that, what do you draw from that?
A lot. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the thing that I get from the Ayatul Kursi, which is what this ayat is referred to, the ayat of the throne. The reason why I wanted to reflect on this one is because it's one that I say frequently, and when I read it and when I say it in English, what it does for me is it encompasses so much of who Allah is. The first couple of sentences, Allah, God, there is none but He, the living, the self-subsisting one who sustains all that exists. So it tells us about Him, and it tells us about us. He's the one that is sustaining all of us, but He needs nothing from us, and that He's ever living, and He needs nothing from us or from anyone or anything to sustain. So that first sentence, that's what I take from that, and what that means to me is, what it does for me is it magnifies, or how can I say, it paints a picture of His majesty and His glory, like just how huge, for lack of a better word, how huge he is, and how dependent we are on him, the relationship between us and him. So I don't want to go through my whole reflection because it's different things are different, but I thought maybe you guys might want to share some.
Well, if you have, you can go.
Want me to just keep going?
Yeah,
okay.
You can pick out.
The other, no slumber can seize him, nor sleep. Obviously, that's no. He doesn't tire. He's formidable. He's not going to get tired. He's not going to need any rest. You know, he's God. He needs no rest. He's always on his job, so to speak. That's what it says to me. So who is it there? To him belongs all things that are in heaven and the earth. So when I reflect on that, what I think and what I see is that everything belongs to him. Not only do we belong to him, what we own or what we think we own belongs to him. So everything is his. And so that's just a different perspective for me in terms of giving charity, in terms of being, generous, in terms of doing things for others, in terms of, just how I look at my own property, understanding, not to get too attached to things, not to get too, to just understand it from a different perspective. It's not mine, it's his. Everything's his, and including my very breath, and so to me it helps me to stay humble and to keep things in perspective. If you lose something worth, some financial sum, everything came from him, so he can take it, he can give again, so for me it helps me to keep that perspective. Who is it there that can intercede in his presence except as he permitted? So again, that just goes along with everything is his, so who can speak on anyone's behalf unless he permits that, unless that's his desire. He knows what is before them and what's after them, so he knows what's coming, what's behind us. He knows, like, there's no limit to his knowledge. There's we plan and we anticipate, but he already knows. What we've done, he already knows that too, and so it's a done deal, in a sense. But I mean, it speaks about his wholeness in terms of his knowledge and his complete understanding of everything. And then the dichotomy of that is we understand nothing of his knowledge except what he pleases. What we only know of him, what he tells us, and what we can learn from the creation and reflect on. But he tells us who he is in the Quran, and he shows us through his creation some of the manifestations of his attributes. But only what we know, the only thing that we know about him, because there's so much more than what's in the Quran, but only what we know about him is what he tells us. But he knows everything about us. And then the last part, let's see, his throne extends across the heavens and the earth, and he feels no fatigue in guarding and preserving them. Again, that speaks to his majesty and his complete ownership and sovereignty over all of creation, the whole universe. And again, he doesn't get tired. He's not gonna flinch. He's God again. The last guardian. Okay, and then he is the Most High, the supreme in glory. And then again, us telling us some more about who he is. It's telling us more about who he is. And when I reflect on that as a whole, and then in each individual piece, it's just I don't want to say complete picture, but a very good summary of who he is and who we are in relation to him.
That was very well put. Very well put and thorough. Sister Zarinah?
Well, it's not much I can say to come behind that. Pretty much the same things that she was, reflecting on and referring to. I know for myself with that particular ayat, I say it often in different situations. And one of the things that helps me to remember is that, of course, that he is he knows everything. He's everywhere. He's never absent. So when things are happening in the world, sometimes, it can be saddening when you hear some, group of people getting killed or children getting killed. But it has helped me to understand that it's Allah's plan, because He's everywhere. Nothing happens without His permission. So even though these things are happening, and as a human, because we're human and He made us the way He made us, that we are definitely going to feel, we should feel, something about what has happened to these people or a person or whomever. But then, to be able to, what brings me solace is the fact that He is in charge of this. Mm-hmm. And for children, for me, I always feel that they go straight to Him. So even though this was a horrible thing that may have happened, depending on the situation, is that they're already in His care, and that they couldn't have had any better situations happening. So for us on this side, it looks horrible, and and I think it helps us to be more humane, to be more caring about people, to get involved in things that may have some impact on the whole society, to maybe keep these types of things from happening again or something like that. So yeah, that's what I reflect on when I read that ayat, and when as I say it, it's such a powerful ayat. Mm-hmm. And the different times you say it, and it just, for me, I say it every time I get in my car, and I just feel protected. I just feel like, I feel like I can't drive unless I say it, because I feel, well, an imam said one time, all these angels surround you when you say this ayat, and so I just feel like I'm gonna be protected, and so anything, because I've had some very close situations, and as far as accidents could have happened, and I was like, oh my God, and I didn't even see it coming, but I was just like, it was so close, I had to say that those was the angels. So yes, that's
wow. Beautiful. So just in summary, when I read that and I reflect on that, just my short synopsis, what I get from it in short is just that He's enough. Mm-hmm. He's all you need. Mm-hmm. He's all you need. So when I'm in need, I'm reading this, He's all I need. Mm-hmm. I don't need to depend on someone else's, anything mm-hmm. to make a situation happen, And when it happens, even if it's not, something that I wish to happen or the way I wanted it to happen, just knowing that He knows all angles of it and I don't. Right. So if it happened this way, that was a good thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So so that's what I get. Just He's enough. He's enough. Yeah. He's enough, and that we can go to Him straight, absolutely, without having a buffer. Mm-hmm. We don't have to pray to anyone else to get to Him, because He's enough. He doesn't need someone else, to co-sign for Him. Mm-hmm. He's enough. Mm-hmm. So that's really what I get from it. Mm-hmm. Okay, the next verse, Surah 94, verse 5. So verily with every difficulty there is relief. Verily with every difficulty there is relief. Therefore when thou art free from thine immediate task, still labor hard, and to thy Lord turn all thy attention. What do you get when you hear that? When you hear that?
Let's start with me again.
What is it invoke? Yeah, what does it invoke?
Okay, you sure you don't want to start with?
Well, we can start with you.
For me, that one just helps me when I'm going through whatever I'm going through, in terms of whatever I'm going through, and it's becoming difficult, or I'm feeling like it's difficult, and it just helps me to know that that's part of the journey. It's going to be difficult, then it's going to get easy, then it's going to be difficult, then it's going to, and so that's just life. It's just the way life goes, some people used to say you have 7 years of good luck, so they say, and then you have 7 years of whatever, you know, and you know, people have different ways of saying it, but it all comes back to, you know, Allah has already told us that you're going to have difficulty. So for us to think that we're not, you know, and that when it comes, it's like why is this happening to me? Or, you know, getting upset about it. It's just like accepting it, embracing it, and just being patient and working through it, you know. Because what I've found in my own experience is that any difficulty I've gone through, I've always came out a little bit smarter, a little bit stronger, a little bit more wiser, you know. And something my mother used to say is that a wise man will change, but a fool will never change. And that always, I think of that because, you know, when you go through something, you learn, and you learn that didn't work, or you know, maybe that, you know, that you should do some, you know, you shouldn't do this thing again that same way. And so, but when you do, I mean, what else are you? You know, so yeah, it just reminds me of just always staying, you know, mindful of that. Just that we're going to have hard times.
Okay. For me, that ayat with difficult, so verily with every difficult, those ayats, so verily with every difficulty there is relief, and Allah repeats that again. For me, what that is saying is that, and I heard someone say this or read this somewhere, but with every difficulty there is ease. So that means there is, within every problem, the solution is already there. With every issue, with every struggle, the solution or the remedy is in the situation. And so we can busy ourselves, so to speak, in finding the solution and not being preoccupied with the problem, or not being overwhelmed by the distress or the difficulty, because it says with every difficulty is ease, and not after every difficulty. And so that's where that, you know, perspective kind of comes from. It's like it's there, you know, but so find the ease. But and then you could also look at it as focus on the positive, because even though you may be having difficulty in this aspect of your life, you can there's probably a billion other things that are going well, like your health, you know, your blood is flowing right, you're able to breathe on your own, your eyelids are blinking, you know. It's like there's a billion other things that are going right. So if you're having difficulty with this particular situation, perhaps, you know, the message is also to focus on the things in which you have ease in that particular moment.
I like that. I like that.
I do too. That's why it stuck with me.
When I read that, and that's one of my favorite verses, and I like the fact that it repeats, so verily with every difficulty there is relief. It repeats it twice. Like, we need to hear it. Like I'm going to repeat this,
right,
so you all can get this. Verily with every difficulty. You know, it's like we need that. Okay, reinforcement.
Right.
So, and it just reminds me, when I read that, it reminds me of, okay, think back to everything difficult that you've ever been through. Where is it now? It's past. So it's like, okay, so whatever I'm going through now, okay, that'll pass too.
Right.
So, you know, so I just get, you know, it'll pass. It'll remember where you were. Remember where you were. Look at where you are now. All those difficulties, they're gone. They've been resolved. So now you know you have new stuff. You get to that too. So yeah. Okay, let's do reflect on Surah 14, verse 24, which reads, "Seest thou not how God sets forth a parable, a goodly word like a goodly tree, whose root is firmly fixed, and its branches reach to the heavens of its Lord. So God sets forth parables for men in order that they may receive admonition." Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Okay. I'm sorry, I just got distracted. Okay. So the that ayat for me does what it speaks to me is the power of words. So the power of positive words, as well as the next ayat has to do with negative words, I believe. But anyway, the power of any word that we speak, anything that we think that may later become a word, and because he likens it to branches that go to the heavens from the seed. Did he say seed or the root? And so to me, it speaks about how we can build ourselves up with words, how we build each other up with words, how we can strengthen our families and our communities, and words are so powerful, and Allah creates with the word be, and it is, and so it's just to me it's that similitude speaks to that in essence. It speaks to that.
Okay.
Well, basically the same thing, that words are so powerful, and we even know with children, it's so important what we say to them, and because they take everything we say to heart. It's like there's just some negative things that I've known that have been said to children, and they grew up, that's the way they felt, that's who they thought they were, and it took them many years to realize that wasn't who they were, but this was something that had been said to them over and over. And so, words are very powerful, and I myself have really been working on what I say to myself, because we can keep ourselves from going forward just by saying words to ourselves, things to ourselves that say, you want to do something, and then you tell yourself, well, you really can't do that, or you're too old to do that, or it's going to, whatever, to keep you from doing it. Whereas when you tell yourself, I can do this, and I will do this, and you may not even know how you're going to do it, but when you believe it, it gives you that energy. It's like you start, and it seems like when you do put that out there, the universe just starts bringing things to you. People, you'll be talking to somebody, and they'll say something that has to do with what you're trying to do. And so words are so powerful, and I believe, that to me is what Allah is trying to let us know, is that, words are, we have to be careful with our words. We shouldn't just say anything, and because, like, the next ayat, that's what it speaks about, is evil words, or like an evil tree.
Yeah.
And it bears, nothing but evil fruit. So words are very, very, important that we just understand. And I'll stop.
Okay. And when I reflect on that, it just reminds me of how much responsibility it is in words, spoken, written, just the responsibility, and especially as a writer, I write words, so when I write, when I'm putting words together, I weigh that, I keep in mind that responsibility of words, It's like, okay, if I put the wrong stuff in there, I'm going to be held accountable for that, so it's a responsibility. So when I write something, I'm praying over it, for some guidance, make sure I say the right words in the right manner. So because it's the responsibility. And they're like seeds, they go deep. They go deep. They can raise you or sink you. And turn on a light, turn off a light. So just the responsibility. So I take that to heart. So, and I remember when I was in junior high, I wrote something, a spoof off of a song, but it was about another student, but it was in a not good way, and at the time I thought it was funny, and I was sharing it with other kids, and they were laughing, and she somehow someone passed it to her, not knowing it was about her, and then she got out of the class, she bolted out of the classroom and just cried, and to this day I
traumatized by
yeah,
that.
I remember. I said I will never ever write a word to hurt someone. You know, so I take it to heart. My right. So we've covered 1, 2, 3 verses. And we're gonna stop here, and we're gonna continue in part 2.
Okay.
So with our discussion on sharing Quran, Muslim women sharing Quran and our perspectives. So I want to thank you all for tuning in, and remember, Masjid As-Sabur is located at 4926 15th Avenue off of Stockton Boulevard. Our website, www.masjidassabur.org. Our Jummah services are Friday at 1:30 p.m. Come on and listen and learn what we're about. And thank you for tuning in. God's peace be upon to you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to remind everyone, Masjid As-Sabur, 4926 15th Avenue. Our new masjid is gorgeous. We just finished planting over 100 plants in front of the masjid. We just got through cleaning up the kitchen and getting ready to clean up all of the wudu stations. And we want you to come and join us. Every Friday, 1:30 p.m., Masjid As-Sabur, Sacramento. We are also on the web, www.masjidassabur.org. And we're on Facebook, so please like us. Again, we thank you for your patience and your time. We want to remind you that God truly has a message for you. And we want to remind you that we are here to give you any help that you may need. As God has taught us, He is a merciful God. As long as you come to Him and ask forgiveness, He will forgive you. So no matter where you are in life, there is a hope for change.